Are you interested in learning a new folk art from India just like me? Well, I present to you a wonderful and interesting tribal art from the western part of India called the Warli painting. Now, to check all the material needed for this painting and other details, you can check in the description box below. So, without further ado, let's begin with the session. And till then, why don't you subscribe to my channel if you are also a big fan of Indian folk art just like me? So for this painting, I'm using a square canvas board, which is 25 by 25 centimeter. Now for the paint, I'm using acrylic paint. Now what I've done is I've mixed red with brown and prepared a solution of reddish brown color, which you may have noticed a lot of time used as a background color for the Warli painting. So Warli painting was originally done on the walls, which is a mixture of branches, earth and red brick in the olden times. And that is why this red ochre background for the paintings. So what we'll start with is first cover the background entirely with this reddish brown color that we have prepared and cover it completely. Now you may notice that as you are doing it on the canvas with the acrylic paint, you may notice patches once you start doing it with the first coat, but you don't have to worry. First finish this first coat on the canvas, let the paint dry, and then again cover it with the next coat, which you will see further in this painting. So what I'll do is quickly first finish my canvas, completely cover it everywhere with this reddish brown color. Now, as you see, we are done with the first coat and it looks really patchy, but you don't have to worry. Let it dry, and once it is dry, try to cover it with the next coat. So exactly like this. So as you see here, once you start covering it with the next coat of paint, it looks perfect. And trust me, you need to have a little patience and everything comes around once you do it with a little patience. So we will just completely cover it again with the next coat. And you have to go slowly in one direction. So whenever you are using a round brush to cover the background, I usually work with round brush because I find it easier to do with that and I'm more comfortable with it. You can also use a flat brush for this purpose. But I really like working with the round brush. So I'm using a round brush. So exactly like this, just go very slowly and just cover it everywhere slowly in one direction with this round brush. So let me finish that and let my paint completely dry before we start making the design. So what I have done here exactly, as you can see, I have sketched 2 centimeter border on all sides with a white color pencil. So you can also do that, or you can try to make it freehand. So this is just to give me exactly where to draw my lines, but I'll do the lines freehand using a paintbrush. Now this is a very thin brush of size 0 or 1. You can use as per your convenience, or you can also go for a thinner brush. So I'm going very slowly on this line with this paintbrush and white acrylic paint. So you have to be very slow and go very easily on this exact line that you made with the white color pencil. So very slowly just try to finish it on one side. Now as you see, I'm going super slow and easy on this line. You don't want to make a mistake here or ruin this just by being quick and impatient. So patience is the key. Now again, what I'm doing here is creating a parallel line underneath the line that we created. So this is exactly the same double lines that we always see also in other folk arts from India. So if you have noticed the other folk art or the similarities between the folk art paintings is that basically they use very simple geometric patterns and also such double lines and lines more often to decorate and make it more beautiful. Now again, I'll do the line on the other side. The 2 sides I have already done. So here on all 4 sides you have to make this exact same line. So I'll show you again how to do it. Very slowly go with the tip of the brush. Don't take too much paint in your brush. Just cover the tip and very carefully try to follow the lines. And this is how you do the double line. So in this double line, particularly when you are making it underneath, you have to be even more careful because you want it to be as straight as possible. I know this is folk art. It is supposed to be not like fine art, but as raw. And, the lines are not straight, but try to do it as parallel as possible to the other line. Now, in the corner where we created this, due to the border, the squares have been created. I'm just going to cover it with a checkered pattern. Now, this is how we do it with the paintbrush. As I said earlier also, patience is the key. You have to go very slowly and just try to create checks here. And once it is done, it is very beautiful. Now, you don't have to worry. Sometimes the line might come thicker, thinner. Of course, you are doing it freehand and using a brush. Moreover, to do it, it may not be uniform, but that's the beauty of it because it's a folk art. So we have to keep it raw. And if you want to know, earlier, the people, when they made this painting, they actually didn't have any brush because this painting is really old. Approximately, it is supposed to date back as early as 10th century AD. So you can imagine at that time, people actually used some bamboo sticks and they chewed on it and they tried to create a brush out of it and paint with natural colors, like they created a rice paste, mix some gum to make white color for the painting. So here we have the convenience of using a brush. At least we can do is we can keep it as authentic as possible by using just brush and trying to do it freehand. Now, as you see in the border, I'm just trying to create triangular pattern here. Now, in Warli, you may also notice a lot of triangles used for this painting. In fact, if you have noticed the human forms in Warli painting, it is made out of 2 triangles. So, people and animals are represented by 2 inverse triangles joined at their tips. So this is how it is depicted in this art form. And this is actually there is a meaning to it. It symbolizes the balance of the universe. So this is actually the use of triangle many times. Now, also there are a lot of circles used in this painting. Now, if you want to know why, because the circle represents the sun and the moon, and the triangle was derived from the mountains and the pointed trees. So this is, as I said, an age-old tradition. It's a tribal art. So this is kind of the history behind it, or the story behind the motifs used. Now, as you see here, I'm just trying to shade the outside of the triangular border design that I created with some fine lines, with some fine parallel lines, just like, it looks like a straw on the hut, or the hay with the old, in the old villages where the huts were created. So this is basically symbolizing that. So this is how we try to do on all 4 sides, the same border. We'll just try to repeat it on all 4 sides. So as I said, just go very slow and with patience. Now, as you also see, it doesn't have to be accurate, but in the end, that is the beauty of it. That is the rawness of the folk art, and that is what makes it more precious and unique. So we will just try to first finish the border on all 4 sides before we begin with the design in the center. So here, as you see, my border is completely done and it's dry. So I will try to first start with the sun in the corner. So now I created a circle, small triangles on all sides, and just try to fill it completely with the white paint, and these dotted lines to show the sun rays. So this is just finishing up the sun completely with white paint, and these dotted lines to show the sun rays. So all the motifs that will be created is freehand here, as it is folk art. So here we did the sun. Now we will begin with the hut. So it is basically the theme of this painting is a village scene. So what happens in a village? So we will just try to create first a hut like you see here, and we will shade the top of the hut again with those checkered pattern which we used also in the border in the corners. So exactly the same way, just be very careful with these lines and try to go slow and with patience. So we just first fill this top of the hut with this checkered pattern, as you can all see on your screens. So let's complete it, and on the outside also I'm just trying to shade it just with these fine lines on the outside. Just after finishing that, we will try to create the bottom part of the hut. So this is how you do it. It's very simple, using lines, geometric patterns, squares, rectangles, triangles. This is basically what we are going to do today, entirely for the complete painting. So here we divided the hut in some sections, that it has some windows and doors. And here on top of a window, there is a basket kept. So this basket is just like that, again shaded with those checkered patterns here. And dividing it further and just creating fine lines to completely cover this part of the hut. So here we will create now a man who is sitting here relaxing in the hut. Now as you see here, 2 triangles used for the man, and for the face we use a circle. So all geometric patterns. So this is a very typical motif or way actually for this kind of folk art. So that's the beauty. So this is how you draw a person in Warli art. So you first create the face as a circle and join it with a line as a neck with an inverted triangle, and join the 2 triangles with the tip. So this is basically a human form. Now again here I am creating a basket here in the bottom part. So as I said, this is the scene of a village. So everyone is active, doing something. Here again I'm just trying to create a different kind of basket. So this kind of painting doesn't have really the perspective. It is usually filled with different motifs, different themes, different scenes. And this was actually painted on the wall, as I said before also, the Warli painting. And the villagers, what they did was they painted the wall on various occasions like festivals or ceremonies. And they tried to repaint it again with different motifs matching to the theme or the occasion what it was. So exactly like this, the walls were completely filled with different people. Usually, the theme was derived from the occasion, or mostly the daily lives or what they did every day. So exactly the same thing we are trying to do here. So what the people in the village do every day. So there is another human form that I'm doing here, and this time we'll make a woman. So it is again very simple. She's sitting here. So this is how we'll do the legs, and she is just having this basket of grains. So for the grains, as you saw, I just shaded it with small dots. And this is the difference between a man and a woman when you draw in Warli painting, as you see here. So you just have to draw a bun to show that she's a woman. Exactly the circular face and a bun. Now she's grinding the grains. So I'm just trying to draw the grinder, what she's having in her hands. Some bangles to add to show that she's a woman. And there in the grinder, a little bit design. So this was in the olden days how people used to grind. In fact, still some people use this in the villages in India. So this is how we do the grains. Now we try to draw a teeny tiny bird who is trying to eat the grains, which is falling down here while she's grinding. So exactly creating kind of a scene. So as I said, the motives are super simple, but the expression is so unique, which is the best part of this art. With such simple motives and only few geometric patterns, we try to create a scene. Now here just trying a cot outside the village. As I said, completely cover the background with different types of motifs and try to create this scene. So here trying to draw the cot outside the house, and that is where they sleep. So it's kind of a bed, and it's a typical cot which is found still in the villages in India where they sleep on it. So here another human form. Now this person is walking. So this is the way you represent walking, a person walking with the legs, and he is just carrying something on his head. So this is a bundle of hay or a bundle of grass, and he's just trying to take it somewhere. So again, filling entirely with the white paint. So here, done with this. And once you fill the white paint, you might need to fill it again. So you can do it if you see a little patches there, or some brownness is still there because of the background. Now here just trying to create plant. So this is how we create the plant here. And on top I am now creating a bird which is flying. So one bird which we created down was settled down, and this is a flying bird. So this is exactly how you do in Warli, the flying bird. So we just try to shade the wings with fine lines. This is exactly how you do it. So she is flying, and that's our bird. So we move on after creating this bird, and we try to add here and there a few elements to compose the entire story, because through this folk art, the people used to tell a story. As I said earlier also, the theme was based on a certain ceremony or their daily lives, and they used to tell stories through different types of motifs placing here and there. And this is how we try to create it also here. So exactly like that, I added a plant there, and now here just a bundle of grass. So trying to compose a story here. So wherever I find a little bit place where I think we could put a motif here and there, I'm just trying to create that. Like in this man's hand, I just found a glass would be good well to show that he's drinking something. And now here adding a little plant, a little different as you may see here. So trying to give the leaves also a geometric pattern. So we are almost through with this painting. Just I'll put the painting in the end where you can see and try to also create this if you want to, and refer to the painting. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you liked this video. I wanted to do something new, and I hope you also enjoyed it with me. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, and do let me know in the comment section below what do you think about this painting and what are your views. So thanks again for watching this video. Stay safe, and don't forget to subscribe if you are also a big fan of Indian folk art just like me. Bye. See you again.